Hey, what's going on tonight, guys? How y'all doing? Hope everyone's doing good out here. Man, I don't know about where you guys are, but boy, was it snowy as hell today. Actually took me quite a bit to get back home. Normally should be a 30-minute ride, ended up being about an hour and a half. So not the most fun ride in the world, but it is what it is. Still ended up working today, Sunday. Money don't make itself. Just remember that, guys. But obviously, there's some breaking news going on here tonight, and we want to talk about this a bit because I'm kind of learning about this a little bit more as it develops, and I'm wondering if it's all for nothing. Here, let me break it down for you. And this is related to that COVID relief package, a $900 billion relief package, and the $1.4 trillion omnibus bill. Now, I understand that there's a lot of folks that think, there's a lot of bad stuff in it. There's certain things in there that's necessary to keep government functioning, supposedly functioning. Personally, I would love to see it not function, because that means if government's not in our way, that means you, me, everyone else, we can continue to do what we do best, be productive, and not have somebody steal from our wallets. But the president went ahead tonight and he signed off on this omnibus package. What's frustrating, I think, for people like myself and many others, is just a couple of days ago, the president went and spoke on this very matter. And he kicked it back to Congress and told the House, told the Senate, I'm not signing this, not until you bring it up to $2,000 and you get all the garbage out of the bill. And lo and behold, did they get all the garbage out? No, they didn't. As a matter of fact, what Nancy Pelosi ended up doing, she scheduled an amendment to be set up so that way what would happen, it had to be unanimous. So the amendment was to take the $600 and move it up to $2,000 per person, but it had to be unanimous. Well, Republicans said no in the House of Representatives, and I don't blame them, because all they did was add an amendment to the already bloated omnibus bill. Now, we're going to call the omnibus bill what it is, $2.3 trillion. Again, in your lifetime, there is no way in hell that you can count from zero to $2.3 trillion in your lifetime. Assuming that you live to the ripe old age of 100 years of age, you could not count that high. I don't even think you count to a billion. Do you know what the actual number is? What can you actually count to in your lifetime? I'd be interested to know. Now, before I go any further, please make sure you guys like, comment, share these videos, subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Library TV, that's Odyssey. If you're on Minds, MeWe, Gab, and of course, Facebook and YouTube. But yes, make sure you smash that like button, share these episodes out, and hit that subscribe button so we can get more notifications of stuff like this, because it certainly does help out, because some of these other newer platforms have a very rudimentary algorithm, and that's the best way that you can help support these channels here that we got for the Caramel Conservative Podcast. Speaking of which, we'll be doing a year in review show here come Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, CPT. Oh, this bill's so damn bloated. It's so bloated, I need a drink. Let's take a look. Let's kind of get into this here. I'm going to share my screen here. Get rid of the overlay for a second. I'll blow this bad boy up all the way. Let's check something here. Yep, we're looking good. I just got to check something. Make sure that we are. No, we're not broadcasting on Facebook Live. What is going on? Yeah, apparently I do. Well, let's check something else out. Well, no, you ever wonder why? Well, you might not, but sometimes you're streaming something and you're wondering why certain people who normally are in there with you and now they're not. Well, no, it's because I don't have that bad boy being shared out. But we're going to take care of that right now. I'm going to copy that link. Actually, let's see, we can share this here. Yeah. Share via. I don't want to put it on Twitter. Well, we want to get this out here, obviously. All right, let's get that link there. We're going to print. Get that bad boy right there. Get those over here. Yes, I know. Very professional work over here. Thank you. No. Let's see. That's not what I want. That's not it either. It's going to make me go through all of these things here, which is actually kind of funny. Suppose I should have done a YouTube live. But YouTube can be such a pain in the ass. All right, just bear with me a moment here as I'm kind of trying to make sure this pans out the way that it needs to. Click to Detroit. There we go. All right, let's see. Let's go back over here to StreamYard. Okay, there we go. Again, I apologize. Wow, somebody put an angry emoji up in this bad boy. All right, before I go any further, let me ask a question. I threw it up here in the chat room. I want to get you guys' thoughts. What are your thoughts on the signing of this omnibus COVID relief bill? And what are your thoughts on the Impound Control Act of 1974, which apparently President Trump is invoking right now? On the COVID relief, on the impact control bill, and we're going to get to that more here in a minute. But I want to get your guys' thoughts, so please make sure you throw it out in the chat room. Now, let's take a look at this article. We're going full screen now. Now, when we take a look at what's in the COVID package, we talked about this before in past videos. Other people have commented on it. There's a lot of garbage out here. $10 million to Pakistani gender studies. Really? We're doing that. They had other deals going to other countries. You got foreign aid all over the place. At a time that the U.S. is hurting economically, we got people right now that the moment that these moratoriums are up when it comes to evictions for both renters and people that have mortgages, they're out. I mean, the ones on mortgages, maybe they might get a reprieve as they go through a year-long process, the legal process of eviction or foreclosure. But for the most part, a lot of folks are going to be kind of out on their ass. So taking a look at what's inside this COVID relief package, here's what we know. So in here, we know that unemployment insurance, this is what they're talking about, the $300 extra a week. So if your state says the max that you're going to get for unemployment benefits is $258, then you're going to get, what is it, $558, $300 more. It used to be $600 if you guys remember over the summer. Now, Mike, that's a damn good question. Why did he sign this? And I actually have a thought on that, and I'm going to share that with you guys here in a moment. But if you remember over the summer, it was actually more profitable for people to just go ahead and stay unemployed. Why go to work when you're making the equivalent of $40,000 a year if you actually did that the whole time? So why? Very foolish. Now, I understand people need help. And then you got $600 that's going to be sent out to every American. $600. Wow. What are you going to do with $600? I don't know. I can't really do squat with $600, to be perfectly honest with you. And before anybody decides that they're going to say, well, if you don't want the money, you could just give it back to the government, or you can give it to someone else. No, that's my fucking money. And yeah, I said it. When you look at this whole COVID relief package, it is in a lot of ways garbage. especially this omnibus portion of it. I understand you need the paycheck protection program. You want to do vaccines and testings for people. I get that. What exactly do we need $82 billion for schools and universities? And I'm going to get back to schools and universities here in a minute because that's a system that is beyond broken and needs to continue to break. And it's going to be very unpopular with some people, especially on the right, but there's a reason for this here. $26 billion for food and farm aid. $10 billion for child care. So they're looking to provide $10 billion of child care development block grants to help family with child care costs and help providers cover increased operation costs. Okay, I get it. Daycare is expensive. But the fact of the matter is that the providers, the actual people that do work, the actual taxpayers, they don't qualify for any of these programs. They're still the people that are shelling out, $1,400, $1,600, $1,800 a month for child daycare. They're not going to reap the benefit of any of this. All of this is a massive redistribution of wealth. $10 billion to the United States Postal Service. They couldn't, there's still packages that haven't been able to be sent out and reach for other people for the holidays. And you want to continue to fund this essentially defunct organization? On an average day, the USPS cannot be trusted. Hell, if I had $500 in my hand right now, I would not send it to you cash. Why? I don't trust the Postal Service. I have seen mail mangled. I have seen mail lost. I have seen mail just discarded. You hear about Postal Service workers just hoarding up mail and actually keeping it themselves. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of stories of those. Look them up. So, yeah, why exactly are we funding this terrible organization? Yes, I said it's terrible. Omnibus appropriations. Boy, this is a dandy here. Now, keep in mind, this is clickondetroit.com. The omnibus measure wraps 12 spending bills into one and funds agency operations through September 30th of next year, so going the entirety of the fiscal year. It combines Democrat priorities, such as $12.5 billion increase over existing budget limits for domestic programs, while cutting, ready for this? Cutting immigration and enforcement customs detention and removal costs by $431 million. So we are now cutting programs like ICE, actual law enforcement agencies. But we're going to go ahead and fund all these pet projects for Democrats, like create 2 new museums that nobody can go to, give $40 million to the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, important stuff. COVID-19 has contributed to sharply lower costs. Republicans supported sustained defense spending, energy provisions, and longstanding bans on federal funds on abortion. The measure also provides Donald Trump with a last $1.4 billion installment for a wall for the U.S.-Mexico border. Miscellaneous. Surprise medical billing. So apparently that's going to be put to an end. Surprise medical billing. What? You're surprised when you get a $300 bill for gauze. Okay, I get that. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there are some good things from this package, but there's a lot of crap in here. Community health centers reauthorizes for 3 years funding of community health centers and extends a variety of expiring healthcare policies, including reimbursement rates for various healthcare providers and procedures under Medicare and Medicaid. Tax extenders goes in here, extends a variety of expiring tax breaks, including lower excise taxes on craft brewers and distillers. Ooh, that's important. Reduce energy costs with C tax breaks as well as motorsport facilities, people making charitable contributions, business meals would be 100% deductible through 2022, and out-of-pocket healthcare costs would be considered deductible after they reach 7.5 of their income. Most people wouldn't even know anything about that. Water projects. $10 billion to the 46 Army Corps of Engineers Flood Control, Environment, and Coastal Protections projects. Have they fixed the problem in Flint, Michigan? That's what everyone wants to know. We can't fix the problem in Flint, Michigan, but we can go ahead and give billions of dollars in foreign aid. clean energy programs, education. Oh, this is interesting. So it includes a bipartisan agreement to forgive the about $1.3 billion in federal loans to historically Black colleges and universities and simplify college financial aid forms. Boost the maximum Pell Grant for low-income college students by $150 to $6,495. Offer second chance Pell Grants to incarcerated prisoners. Okay. Horse doping. Apparently, this is a huge priority, so you got to watch out for that. Adding the museums we talked about. Fulton pipeline safety legislation reauthorizing operating grants and safety standards for oil and price lines. Airline safety, so $250 million over the next 5 years to carry out that legislation. Intelligence programs, like FISA, reauthorizes it for 2021. Another piece of legislation that was not in here also included, there was a bill that had been proposed for some time by Senator Tom Tillis. And basically what it says is if you're streaming unlicensed content, copyrighted material, not only could you possibly run the risk of getting banned, not only could you run the risk of, losing your channel, not being monetized, but they're looking to potentially put you in prison for up to 10 years on felony charges. Now, they say they're not looking to go after the individual content creator, but let's be honest. Do we trust government for anything? I think not. It's pretty simple, straightforward. I want to get to another thing here. Let's get that overlay back in there. There we go. Looking much better. So a couple things in here. Obviously, we know that this bill is loaded with pork. There's a lot of garbage in there. Shannon, what's going on? Chris, what's going on? Hey, Chris. Okay, that's awesome. Let's highlight this here. Chris mentioned that he's been unemployed for 6 months. I can't get behind this. All right. How has unemployment worked for you? Because I've talked to several people. I know somebody who they applied for unemployment. They actually got unemployment. But I know several other people that have applied for unemployment and are still waiting. Like they have applied, kept re-upping every week like they were supposed to, have never seen a check, and they actually been employed since, but they're still waiting on that unemployment money. So I'd be interested to know what's kind of been your experience, what's been your journey on unemployment. So if you could put that in the chat, that would be phenomenal. Shannon. She puts here, nothing pumped up to see a Facebook Live tonight. I'm actually kind of surprised Paris isn't on right now, to be honest with you, because I thought he'd be jumping on this one for sure. So let's get back into the meat and potatoes of this here. So obviously the president a couple of days ago, he actually had a video statement on why he was looking to potentially veto this bill. That's strong, Shannon. So am I, right here. It's a cocktail kind of day, right? 2020. But anyway, so I want to go over the text of the president's statement for tonight when he signed this bill. All right, and I think this is important. And again, guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe, get folks out, and always hit those notification bells. And ultimately, on all platforms, smash that like button. So I want to go over this here. This is the president's statement. He issued the following statement signing the omnibus government spending bill and the COVID relief bills. Now, they're separating these two things. And as I go through this, I want you to understand how they're framing this. The framing of these articles is so incredibly important. Here's what the president has to say. As president of the United States, it is my responsibility to protect the people of our country from the economic devastation and hardships that is created by the China virus. I love it when he says that. It's really, really cool. I understand that many small businesses have been forced to close as a result of harsh actions by Democrat-run states. Facts. Many people are back to work, but my job is not done until everyone is back to work. Fortunately, as a result of my work with Congress in passing the CARES Act earlier this year, we avoided another Great Depression. Under my leadership, Project Warp Speed has been a tremendous success. My administration and I developed a vaccine many years ahead of the wildest expectations, and we are distributing these vaccines and others soon coming to millions of people. As president, I have told Congress that I want far less wasteful spending and more money going to the American people in the form of $2,000 checks per adult, $600 per child. As president, I am demanding many rescissions under the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. The act provides whenever the president determines that all are part of any budget authority will not be required to carry out the full objectives or scope of programs for which it is provided, or that such budget authority should be rescinded for fiscal policy or other reasons, including termination of authorized projects or activities for which budget authority has been provided, the president shall transmit to both houses of Congress a special message describing the amount to be reserved, the reluctant accounts, and the reasons for the rescissions and the economic effect of the rescissions under 2 U.S. Code Section 683. I signed the Omnibus and COVID package with a strong message that makes clear to Congress that wasteful items need to be removed. I will send back to Congress a redlined version, item by item, accompanied by the formal rescission request to Congress, insisting that these funds be removed from the bill. I am signing this bill to restore unemployment benefits, stop evictions, which will go until January 31, add money for PPP, return our airline workers back to work, and substantial more money for vaccine distribution and much more. On Monday, the House will vote to increase payments to individuals from $600 to $2,000. Therefore, a family of four will receive $5,200. Additionally, Congress has promised that Section 230, which was so unfairly benefits big tech at the expense of the American people, will be reviewed and either be terminated or substantially reformed. By the way, we're going to get to Section 230 as well, too. I can't tell you how important that is for you, me, Joe Rogan, all of us. Likewise, the House and Senate have agreed to focus strongly on the very substantive voter fraud which took place in the November 3rd presidential election. The Senate will start the process for a vote that increases checks to $2,000, repeals Section 230, and start an investigation into voter fraud. Big tech must not get protections of Section 230. Voter fraud must be fixed. Much more money is coming. I will never give up my fight for the American people. Okay. All right. Boy, I got a lot to say. I feel like it's still Festivus. Let's break this down a little bit at a time, bite-sized bits. Why did the president sign this bill? Especially given what he said just a few days ago. I think ultimately what it comes down to is the president signed this bill because of unemployment. He wanted to get checks out there. My understanding is that Steve Mnuchin has already said that once this bill is signed into law, those checks can be out as early as next week. Great. But let's take a look at the reality of what's happened. You just had $3,000 of your money jacked from you. If you have 5 people in your home, you had $15,000 just taken from you, snatched up. Somebody just came along and snatched up all your shit. So if you make $30,000 per year, you just lost half that money. But wait, it's okay. It's okay. There's 5 of you, right? There's 5 of you, and you're going to get $600 back. You got $3,000 taken away from you. You're going to get $300 of it or $600 of it back per person. So you'll get $3,000 back. That's like a really polite thief, like a Robin Hood type person coming up to you and saying, I'm stealing from the rich, I'm giving to the poor, but that's not really what he's doing. He's just using it as an excuse. So he steals all your money and gives you like $10 for cab fare because it's raining outside. That's what happened. We just had the biggest, this is like the biggest home theft, I could possibly think of. what are the vast majority of people going to do with $600? I mean, if you're a single person, what's $600 going to do? For most people, that's not going to pay rent. That might pay a couple bills, might pay maybe your internet, your cell phone, some groceries for the month, and then what? Like we saw when the CARES Act, when people got $1,200 per person, $600 per kid, most of those folks, they did not spend that money on rent, ammunition, guns. They didn't spend it on paying down debt. They went out and bought more stuff. Shannon mentioned won't pay house payment. No, I guess not at this point. I mean, hell, why pay anything, right? But when you think about it, like I said, you just had $3,000 just literally jacked from you. Now, I know I'm rounding up numbers. If I round down, I can say 2,700. Doesn't matter. You still had money taken from you. And the vast majority of that money, that $600, well, that's nice. You're going to get it back. And you're supposed to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Government. Now I can just, sit down here and pretend to be happy. And maybe I'll do a little Oliver Twist. Please, sir, more. It's actually really disgusting when you think about it. $600 goes back to you. $2,100 to $2,400 of your money per person is going somewhere else. A Democrat slush fund like the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. We saw what happened when they got $25 million the last time. $5 million got redirected and donated to the DNC. Seems like a professional laundering operation to me. Or money gets sent overseas. I don't think, for most of us, I don't think necessarily we have a problem with foreign aid. But until people here in the United States are back on their feet, until people are back working, until we're able to take care of our homeless problems, our evictions problems, our economy, why are we sending money overseas? If nothing else, this omnibus bill has shown us this month the swamp creatures are coming back out. I mean, the Democrats literally wasted no time, and Republicans too. They had wasted no time just filling this bill with pork, wish list items, all kinds of nonsensical garbage, and it had nothing to do with COVID relief. Oh, sure, you can say, go ahead and say, $900 billion. But when you take a look, $900 billion versus $1.4 trillion, come on. It would have been better had the government, like Rand Paul said, why stop at 6? Why not go to 2? And if you're going to have 2,000, why not go to 5,000? Why not go to 10,000? I mean, at the very least, if you gave all that money to the American people, we would at the very least be leveraging our labor, our future labor, rather than giving away our future labor and the efforts that of what we put forth in our work. Section 230. Now, you guys may have heard about this. Section 230 is basically what it is a protection that allows internet companies such as Google, Facebook, YouTube. It protects them from content creators like myself and other people. So, for example, and I'm not saying to do this, just understand that. If I say something very reckless and I say, you know what, hey, I need you to go over there and start killing the Martians, it protects YouTube from any liability. So because I incited somebody to go out there and kill a bunch of Martians, it falls upon me, not YouTube. They're just the platform to do that. Now, if you're a publisher and you edit stuff, well, that's another story. Now you might be responsible for people's content. And one of the things that we've seen as of late, especially this year in 2020, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, what are some of the other big platforms out there? But the big tech ones, boy, they have been abusing that Section 230, and they have been editing and they have been acting like publishers. And it's amazing to watch because the president is out here talking about we need to just eliminate Section 230. And I need to tell you guys, that is the worst possible thing that can happen to Section 230. Because if Section 230 is done away with, then you can say goodbye to content creators like myself. You can say goodbye to the Tim Pools of the world, the PewDiePies of the world. Hell, you could probably even say goodbye to some of your favorite other streamers or your other content creators. You could say goodbye to Facebook, Twitter. I'm okay with saying goodbye to Twitter, by the way, because it is like the cesspool of the internet, a complete crap fest. But it is one of these bills that came in that became law that doesn't need to be terminated, but it needs to be reformed. And that is the big thing. And I had to wonder on the onset, when the president said that he wanted the elimination of Section 230, was that the big ask? Was that what he wanted in turn? Because when his, in his book, The Art of the Deal, you got the big ask, which is just this ridiculous thing. And then it gives you a position to work with in negotiating somewhere toward the middle. And I get it if that's where he's coming from. But if you're constantly seeking this removal of Section 230, you are going to kill so many content creators. Well, you couple that along with Tom Tillis's, streaming law that he got actually passed into this. Well, damn. Let's see here. Let's go into comments real quick. Shannon Manson here, Jamie Mason. You'll love it. He doesn't care. And he says it. He says it like it is. Totally honest, just like us. I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little too raw. Depends on who you ask. Also, let's see here, Mike. We don't need to be sending money overseas. Ain't that the truth, brother? That is the truth. I want to get into this other section here because this is something the president had talked about. He talked about the Impoundment Control Act. Now, what this is here in its base form, what it's actually called is the Congressional Budget and Impound Control Act. This was actually something that was enacted in 1974 as a result of then President Richard Nixon. And Congress had an issue with it because, well, they felt that Nixon wasn't appropriating the money that he was supposed to the areas where Congress said it was going to go. Remember, constitutionally, the House of Representatives controls the power of the purse. And it is up to the executive to actually execute these laws. And the laws aren't necessarily, stop murder, rape, crime, all that other stuff. But it's also like, spending bills and any budgets, things like that. So the impoundment portion here, this is known as Title 10 of the Act, also known as the Impact Control Act of 1974, specifies that the president may request that Congress rescind appropriated funds if both the Senate and the House of Representatives have not approved a rescission proposal by passing legislation within 45 days of continuous session. Any funds being withheld must be made available for obligation. Must be made available for obligation. So right now, what a lot of you guys are seeing on social media is that, President Trump went ahead and he signed this and he talked about the Impoundment Control Act. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys aren't reading up on this. You need to look into it a little bit more. And there's a reason for this. Because what we're looking at here is, yes, the president can say, I'm going to redline this. Let's stop the brakes right there. The president does not have line item veto. It would be great if he did. Well, ask yourself this. Would you have wanted Obama to have line item veto? Line item veto can cut both ways. So you got to be very careful about that. But here it is, and I want to go over this line one more time. If both the House and the Senate have not approved the rescission of proposal by passing legislation, so currently the president has kicked his back and he's put in his notes. This is what I want to see rescinded. If they don't do it within 45 days of continuous session, that means 45 days, House has to actually be in Senate session, the Senate has to be in session. Any funds being withheld must be made available for obligation. So I'll go a little bit further into this here. Congress is not required to vote on the request and has ignored most presidential requests. In response, some have called for a line item veto to strengthen the rescission power and force Congress to vote on the disputed funds. While it might sound great that the president is invoking this Impoundment Control Act, Title 10, let's take a look at who we have in the House of Representatives. Let's take a look at who we have in the United States Senate. It is pure and unadulterated swamp. These people have shown themselves for who they are. I mean, we knew who the Democrats were. That's not up for debate, indisputable. But then you got the Mitch McConnell of the world, who, by the way, he wants to see a nice, smooth transition into the Biden administration, and he's pressuring Republicans not to object to the counting of the votes here come January 6th. It's going to be very fun watching that one. But yeah, swamp creature, cocaine Mitch. Then you got Lindsey Grahamnesty, and let's not forget about our favorite, Amy Klobuchar. Who's the other one there? You got Mittens Romney. And what was the other young lady's name? I cannot ever remember her name. Susan Collins. That's it. Susan Collins. Boy, it's going to be, they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. So if you take a look at a Democrat-controlled Senate, House of Representatives, you have the House that's clearly going to vote one particular way, whatever Pelosi says it's going to vote. The Senate, which even if the Republicans win in Georgia, it's not going to be just a slam dunk. You got individuals that will flip over to the left and vote in caucus with the Democrats. So if we take a look at that, what is their incentive to want to do anything with President Trump at this point? President Trump can go ahead and invoke this Impoundment Control Act, but all Congress has to do as an entirety is just literally wait him out, assuming that Biden takes office January 20th. Because if Biden indeed is the one to take office January 20th, and logic would tell you this is what's going to happen. And I know there's a lot of people out there, trust the plan, Biden's going to win, Trump is going to win. We're coming up on like the 11th hour and 56 minutes. At a certain point, I want to be as hopeful and faithful as everyone else. But here we are, December 27th. Come on. I mean, at this point, it's either crap or get off the pot. If the Trump administration has the goods, now might be the time to act. So with that being said, if a Biden administration comes in January 20th, all this posturing, all this, you could, invoke the Impact Control Act all you want. But clearly, as I stated, Congress has ignored it many times in the past. Now, I didn't get a note on how many times it has been used in the past. But the fact of the matter is that it's been used enough where it was able to make note that Congress says, yeah, we're just not even going to acknowledge this. They're not required to even vote on it. So at this point, Nancy Pelosi could just be sitting back eating her $13 quart ice cream and saying, well, fuck them. I mean, if I were in her position, that's what I would do. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. So I don't know. I think all the way around, this is just a bad bill. Obviously, I think we all know that. I think signing this bill, we got screwed. I mean, we really got screwed. It's a lot bigger than what a lot of you guys might think. It's not just, you're going to get $600 of your own money, but you were jacked, like I said, $3,000 from every person in your home. You lost that much money. Multiply 3,000 times the number of people in your home. That's how much money you all lost. But wait, it gets better. And I know. You're not supposed to go to McDonald's. It's horrible food. I went to McDonald's a few days ago. I ate it and I regretted it. I mean, yes, it filled my stomach, but I felt nothing but regret and shame. It's amazing how McDonald's is only good after 2 a.m. Bar close. But so you go to McDonald's or Wendy's or wherever, they got the dollar menu, the value meal, little board up there. Say goodbye to that. I mean, pretty much everything on a value meal isn't $1 anymore. You might have a few things that are $1, but it's $1.29, $1.49. Well, you can go ahead and look forward to the $15 Happy Meal, the $20 hamburger, little piece of crap thing that's not probably not even real meat. $10 chicken nuggets. Oh yeah. If you think getting 99-cent a loaf of bread over at Quick Trip was a thing, you're going to be looking back on that thinking, man, I remember the days I get a loaf of bread for 99 cents. Because your dollar has just devalued. I mean, it is ridiculous. Your savings has been devalued. The assets you have devalued. I mean, we are printing money at a level that is absurd. I mean, this is the type of thing that creates things like the Weimar Republic. We're going to have billionaires. Very soon, this will be a nation full of billionaires. The problem is that buying that loaf of bread might cost you a couple $100,000. You get what I'm saying? This is putting us on the road to hyperinflation. Shannon mentioned on here, the people who had to keep working throughout this pandemic should get extra. Ooh, I don't know. That was questionable. I've heard arguments for and against that, and I kind of agree with both. I think that, for a lot of folks, just having your job should be enough. And I think certain organizations like Pick and Save, Walmart, several others, they actually ended up, they gave their people like a $2-3 pay hike during the height of the pandemic. The issue I had with that was when they ended up taking it back here, I think just a few months ago. I thought it was kind of shitty, but, should people get a pay hike on that? Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. But unfortunately, I don't think any of these organizations are under an obligation for it. And I think just giving it to them via government money, I just not a fan of something like that. Just like I said, for the reasons we talked about already, we are continuing to devalue the dollar. I mean, literally, we've gotten to the point now where we can devalue the dollar to such an extent that we can turn into a third world country very fast. Look what happened to Venezuela. I assume that we don't turn into a third world country. Just assume that, we kind of bottom out where everyone's like miserable, but not too miserable. What you're looking at is the greatest redistribution of wealth this planet has ever seen. Like literally, we are taking money from the average person, the average worker, the people like you and I that go out and bust our ass 40, 50, 60 hours a week, the killing of small businesses. And where is everybody going to go spend that little $600? Same place they went to go spend $1,200. They're going to take that money and they're going to go to the Amazons of the world. They're going to go to Walmart. They're going to go to the big box stores. They're not going to go to the mom and pop stores because the mom and pop stores have been closed down. They're not going to go to the bars and restaurants because the bars and restaurants have been closed down. They've been literally neutered. Now, here's interesting. Orlando, how are you tonight? Good to see you, my friend. Time for wage increase to increase wages across the board. Yeah, I get that to a certain point. The only issue I have with that is that if you increase everybody's wages, then everybody's still going to be in the same position they were in, because that also means the cost of goods are going to go up accordingly. So if everybody's, the minimum wage is going to be $15 an hour, management gets paid $30 an hour. Everybody, it looks good on paper. You're making a lot more money. But now for that same loaf of bread that was 99 cents, it's now going to be $2.99. So there is an economy of scale. I think that's going to be a problem. And then, of course, if you compound that with the devaluation of the US dollar, well, I'm sorry, that loaf of bread might be $9.99. But we digress. Good comment. Let's see here. Yeah, I know that Mickey D's bill just doubled. Oh, and it only get worse. But like I said, it's the greatest redistribution of wealth that this country has ever seen. I mean, literally, you take a look at the stock prices of places like Amazon and Walmart, the big box stores, all the big tech companies, and boy, they are making money hand over fist. Zoom. I mean, Zoom was making lots of money before the pandemic, but boy, their profits have just skyrocketed. It's very disturbing. Let's see here. Another comment. Shannon mentions here, I have reason for the extra unemployment makes it so easy. I have reasons for that extra unemployment makes it easy to stay at home. So many people are making double to stay at home, and this is true. Where's the incentive for them to work? My point was that those thinking they need to double their pay to stay home, the unemployment, and then maybe those working should be rewarded. I don't know. Well, that's a good point. It's a horse apiece. I get it. Legitimate jobs have been lost, but I have a great solution. Open up. And honestly, we've gotten to the point now where a lot of business owners, they have nothing left to lose. So you know what? Yeah, open up. And I think if a lot of people take a stand, they're going to get support from the community. They're going to get support from the people there. It's a hellish time, I tell you. Let's see here. Orlando mentioned here, there will be a decrease in other supportive services like W-2, low-income housing, state health care, and lower crime. And then he mentions open up to low wages. Well, low wages or no wages. I guess a little something is better than a lot of nothing. You know? But, all right, guys, I ran this video hella long. I only meant to be on here like 20, 30 minutes tops, and here I'm approaching 50 minutes. Wow. Crazy night, huh? Listen, I know those of you in Southeast Wisconsin, you guys got some snow coming your way. Trust me, as somebody who drove through it today, be extra careful on the roads. You are in no rush to get anywhere. Make sure that you guys take care of yourselves. Be careful out there, because most important thing you guys can do is, arrive to wherever you got to go and do it in one piece. So I want to leave you guys with one parting thought tonight. Well, before I give you the parting thought, I just want to let you guys know again, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Caramel Conservative Podcast will be live there. We're going to be doing a year in review show. I'm going to have a few people call in. We're going to kind of chop it up, see what's good. I'll be putting out a video tonight, tomorrow, and just kind of repurposing it, put it on Spreaker as well. But let me leave you with this thought. I am listening to a lot of people right now talking about how they can't wait till 2020 is over. 2020 has been such a rough year. I need you guys to change your thinking. I know we complain a lot. I get it. And we complain about things that we know that we can fix. But also let's take a look at the things that we have to be grateful for. Like the ability to get up, the ability to have, warm running water. You got food in your refrigerator. You're still employed. You're still out here hustling. You're still out here doing your thing. And Orlando, definitely call in. No, for sure. On Tuesday night, sir. Please do. But I want you guys to keep a positive outlook, because remember, the most important thing that you guys have, the most important choice you have, is how you choose to react to a situation. Now, I understand there are a lot of things that you don't have control over, but look at ways of how you can influence those things. Look at ways of how you can control your environment. What's your reaction going to be? How can you take a disadvantage and turn it into an advantage? Sometimes that might mean repurposing yourself, retooling yourself, getting some new skills, doing different things. You still got 6 days here, 7 days now? No, not even that. You got 4 days here for 2020. Do you guys know that you could actually make 2020 the best year of your lives? It's just simply a matter of mindset, really. And 2021 is going to give you a whole new opportunity. Whether or not you're going to choose to be miserable or not, that's going to be something entirely up to you. I can't choose that for you, but I can hopefully give you another perspective. So on that note, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining in here tonight. We got a lot to cover over the next few days. New Year's is coming up. I hope you guys had a phenomenal Christmas. I did. I can't complain. It was absolutely beautiful. And I got to go shovel some snow because we got like 5 inches out here. It's terrible. But all right, guys, good night. God bless you. God bless USA. I'm out.